Mike Bohn here with Dustin Poirier at the Roseville Kitchen and Cocktail Room, where you just finished a autograph signing with a bunch of fans. How was it? I know you're a man of the people. How is it to have this long line of fans just giddy to meet you?
I feel like year after year these lines are getting longer and longer. It's crazy, man. It was supposed to be, I think an hour, ended up staying, or hour and a half, ended up staying probably 2 hours. Make sure I get everybody in line. Don't want anybody left out, especially people who've been waiting. But it's all good, man. I love the support.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, you fought here a year ago. Extremely memorable fight with Michael Chandler. Is that what a lot of people talk to you about? Like when they come up, they're like, man, I remember seeing you here in New York?
Yeah, the locals are telling me it was a great fight. They were there in attendance. A lot of them had Michael Chandler's signature on stuff because I guess he was here or somewhere around here last night. So it's all good.
Yeah, and that's, when you look back at that, I know it's a year later, you've had fights since then and stuff. Does that stand out as one of the more memorable fights of your career, or is it hard to kind of decipher them all?
Yeah, certain ones do stand out, and that was a fun one. We had some animosity going into it. It was a bloody fight. He hurt me, I hurt him, so it was, it's fight of the night that night. And obviously in Madison Square Garden, a place I wanted to fight for a very long time, so I'll never forget that night.
Yeah, we always hear, that's a question you hear at media days, the other interviews all this week. They're like, what does it mean to you to fight at Madison Square Garden? How happy are you that you checked that one off the list? And do you feel like you need to do it again, or is that something you can put behind and now you just look forward to other stuff?
No, I mean, I'd love to do it again, but checking it off the list was important for me, in my career. Mm-hmm. Tiffany's, the jewelry company, made a silver plaque, mimicking a ticket, and gave it to me on night before the fight at weigh-ins. So I'm going to frame that with the fight poster, and I'm going to put that up in my game room. And that's just stuff I'll keep forever and think about, pass down stories to my children about fighting in Madison Square Garden under the lights where the greats fought. I love combat sports, and I love the history of combat sports. So fighting in there meant a lot to me.
Yeah, what's your best piece of memorabilia? Jake Paul gave you the chain. You have this Tiffany thing you mentioned. I'm sure you've got many other things we don't even know about. Is there something that stands out that you have at home that isn't a belt or something like that?
Yeah, probably my personal most proud piece of memorabilia is a handwritten note from Mickey Ward, and then a signed autograph picture from him to me. And then I went to a memorabilia place that authenticates signed things and got a Toro Gotti and framed them together with a picture of them both, and got that on my wall in my bar at my house. So that's something that means a lot to me, because those fights is what fighting's about.
Yeah, that's dope. I know you're such a big boxing fan. This isn't really the direction I was planning on going, but I was in Saudi Arabia for the Ngannou Fury fight, and I was sitting behind Roberto Duran for it. There's all these legends all around. Did you watch that fight, and did you appreciate the collection of legends that they had there?
I saw a bunch of pictures of all the legends. It was crazy. I saw Conor up there with probably 20 other Hall of Fame boxers and other fighters. It was pretty cool to see the people that came out to that. But my daughter actually, it was on Saturday, the couple days before Halloween, and our neighborhood that my daughter's friends live in, were doing trick-or-treating that day. So I had to go into dad mode and watch the play-by-play, try to, keep updated. So I missed the live, but it's all good, man.
Yeah. Did you watch it back at all?
I watched most of it back. I want to sit down and because after I watched it, I was like, everybody's opinions was kind of in my head about each round and stuff. I need to go back. I want to score each round. Not that it even means anything, but I want to sit down and score round by round and see what I have it at the end.
Is it a win, for MMA, though, the fact that Francis even went in there and, hung for that long and arguably won? I mean, I was ringside. I thought he won at worst a draw. Now, I know people always say Dustin's the best boxer in the UFC. I don't know if he'll ever have that chance, but to see how it compares now in the conversation going into that fight and now after about how MMA fighters can hang in there, does that give you kind of hope and inspiration?
I mean, I know what I can do. I can box. I've been boxing for a very long time, probably 16 years, 17 years. I was boxing before I ever put on a pair of 4-ounce gloves. I love boxing. I love the craft. It's something that I really enjoy. But it's a win for MMA for sure. I mean, Francis hasn't even been fighting MMA for a long time. He started when he was 25 or something like that. So it's not like this guy has a long combat history of anything other than mixed martial arts when he started. So to go in there and fight not only the best heavyweight now, but arguably the best heavyweight of all time, and not just hang in there and survive, but win rounds, knock him down, arguably win the fight. I mean, that's a win for combat sports, for mixed martial arts, and I'd love to continue to see more crossovers,
100%. As of now, you are a UFC fighter, still focused on that. We know, how the last fight with Justin went, but there was names coming up with you in the headlines with the fight with Islam potentially being called for that. Can you just walk us through that process and how close do you feel you were to actually getting that fight on short notice?
I was close. They called me right when I landed in Florida. I was going to check on my condo there. and get a weekend of training just randomly. Yeah. Same day I flew in and went to the grocery store, came back to my condo, my phone's ringing, it's Hunter Campbell. I'm like, he doesn't call me to say what's up, how you doing? You know, if he's calling, it's usually self-fight or it's usually something big. And as soon as I answer the phone, he's like, hey, Dustin, what's your weight at right now? I'm like, oh, here we go. What's up? What's up? And so I accepted the fight. He said, give me one day. We're waiting on one thing. And I was like, ah, shit. You know, I didn't know what that was. Waited one day, didn't hear back. Was at dinner the next night. Started texting him, trying to call him like, man, what's up, bro? We doing this? You know, I told you I'm in. But I guess that one day he told me to wait. He was waiting on commitment from Volkanovski, I guess. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I understand why they went that direction, like, you know, champ versus champ, the rematch, the, you know, controversy, I guess, around the first fight. But, like, when you look back at that, obviously the fight went the way it went. Like, do you look at that and be like, damn, like, I could have done better in that spot, in that moment?
Of course, I feel like I could have done better, but I've also could have ate a kick to the face as well. You know, this is fighting. Anything can happen out there. And especially when you go in there, the excitement for me, taking it on short notice, right when I landed, all my coaches were in South Florida. It just felt like I was excited, you know. That excitement made me want to do it. But no, hats off to Volkanovski. He's a champ. He tried to be great, you know, and that's the consequences that come with doing things on short notice, and even if you're fully prepared, those things could happen. But respect to both guys, man.
Yeah, and it was interesting what Volk said after the fight, how like he felt like he needed to take that because he just has like kind of almost a hole in his life when he's not preparing for a fight, even though he had fought like a couple months before. And I know like we've known each other for a long time, and I feel like maybe you have some of those similar feelings, like you need something that drives you, that motivates you. When he was talking about that, like were you relating a lot to where his mentality was?
Yeah, my wife actually sent me a clip of him saying that, like, look at this, like, because that's me. But I've been saying it for years. If I'm not at war with something or preparing for something, I'm at war with myself. And that's just the truth of it. It's been like that for 16 years straight. You know, I need to be at war with business, at war with a goal that I have written down that I'm trying to make happen, or getting ready to fight someone. I have to have something at the end of the tunnel for me, or I'm just, you know, I can't sit in my own head with nothing to do. Idle hands are dangerous.
Yeah, and we saw Conor in Saudi Arabia. He said the same thing. He was literally begging the UFC to just like give me my date. And I know you're kind of in a similar spot. There's nothing super obvious for you right now after the fight with Gaethje. I know some tweets about UFC 300 and stuff. Not maybe a super clear opponent. So like, how are you feeling about what's kind of the future right now?
I'm keeping my weight low in case something happens. You know, I'm super light right now. I've been like that for like the last month. I don't have any plans. If they call me with the name that's exciting or makes sense, like the Gaethje thing, then that was one of those. Like I was kind of waiting for something fun to, and that was when they called me with that one. I was nervous. I was like, oh, what happened? I thought could happen, so that made me excited. We'll see when they call with that name, then I'll do it. But UFC 300, you know, I made my debut at UFC 125, January 1st, 2011. I'm not going to be here at UFC 400. You know what I mean? I'm 34 years old. So to make it on that UFC 300 card would be cool if I get the right opponent, you know, an exciting fight. So we'll see. I don't know. I could fight before then. Who knows?
Do you think it could be the Gaethje thing? Because he's not fighting. It sounds like they're going to do Oliveira and Makhachev that rematch next. Gaethje said he wants to wait, but like, who knows how long that wait is? Makhachev's talking about maybe he goes to 170. Do you think maybe, I guess, if you had a message to him, to the UFC, like, is that a fight that would make sense for UFC 300, the trilogy?
Yeah, I would take that for sure. Yeah, for sure I would take that fight. And 300 would be a great card to do it on. But we'll see. And if I was in Justin's shoes, if he's guaranteed a title shot, you might not want to risk it. But hey, this is fighting. People get antsy. We'll see what happens. But I'm definitely open to that.
What do you think happens if Oliveira and Makhachev run it back?
If Oliveira's mindset is in it, if he's the same guy who fought me, who fought Chandler, I think he can win that fight. You know, I don't think he wanted to fight in that title fight. He looked like he didn't want to be there. You know, he quit on himself, it looked like. That's what my opinion. But I know personally he has the skills to beat the best guys in the world, and he has done that time and time again. It's just, if he goes in there with his mindset locked in, ready to go, I think he can beat him.
Yeah, and you see Makhachev now, #1 pound for pound, knocks the dude out with a head kick that I think a lot of people didn't know that he had. Are you kind of like surprised or impressed with his growth?
Was that his first stoppage by...
My head kick, for sure. I think he's had a couple like ground and pound finishes, but nothing, and submissions, but nothing like that.
I mean, he's been competing for a long time. He's the champ. He's defending his belt. He's only going to continue to get better. He's surrounded by great guys, a great camp, great team, and yeah, he's going to continue to get better. Everybody's getting so good at everything. Looking at somebody as a one-dimensional fighter, those days are kind of, you know, gone.
And what about Gamrot? I know you guys don't have plans on fighting, close training partners, teammates, but he's right there too. He's in your kind of peripheral in terms of contenders. Like, what kind of happens if you guys are in the same spot?
We'll see. Yeah, Gamrot's a friend of mine. We've done a lot of camps together. Yeah. We both trained American Top Team. I've helped him prepare for Jalen Turner. I flew in and gave him some southpaw looks. But we'll see. I don't want to fight anybody I train with, and we'll just have to see what it looks like, you know.
Yeah. What's in the water with these lightweights there? Like, you guys have a lot of guys in the top 10 right now. Like, I know ATT has not been unknown to these situations before. It's happened in multiple divisions, multiple situations, but it seems like it's kind of getting into that spot again with all you guys there. Yeah,
and like I'm friends with these. We're actually friends. Yeah. We train a lot together, but it's just, you don't want to. It's just bad energy for the gym. It splits the gym up. Different coaches. It's not a good feel, So I'd rather stay away from that stuff if possible.
Yeah. So I guess just to close it out, you're waiting for that call from Hunter Campbell to pop up on your phone and for something to be real. That's basically it.
Something to be real, something to be exciting, something that gets my blood pumping, and then we'll have a fight.
I appreciate the time, Dustin. You're a legend of the game, one of the best fighters of all time, future Hall of Famer, fan favorite. I could go on and on with the accolades. Dustin Poirier, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate the time.
Hey, thank you, brother.